back to my channel. I'm James, and today we're going to discuss one of my favorite 1980s sci-fi action adventure movies. So today I'm excited to announce we're going to deep dive into RoboCop on 4K Ultra HD. Now today we're going to do my exclusive 4K versus Blu Ray image comparisons while I go through the differences between this 4K Ultra HD release and the original Blu Ray release, and the differences between the SteelBook release and the 4K Ultra HD limited edition set. So I'm going to kind of compare everything and give you a one-stop shop for all the differences and what is really worth picking up, skipping, or if this is really worth upgrading from the original Blu Ray release to the new 4K release. Now while we're going through the 4K versus Blu Ray image comparisons here in just a little bit, I'm going to touch on also what makes all my videos and content that I create here on my YouTube channel so unique and exclusive. I've gotten a lot of questions recently asking what I do that's so different from all the people that have been kind of coming out of the woodwork copying and mimicking what I've done over the last several years. Now, while we're going through this, I'm going to do an unboxing, give you a quick movie review, my thoughts on the film itself, and then at the end I'll always wrap it up with my review score. And as most of you know that have watched this channel for a long time, that review score gives you a sum up of basically the special features, the visual quality, the audio quality, and lets you know how this compares to all the hundreds of other 4K Ultra HD releases that I've reviewed over the years. It also lets you know if this is something worth buying and spending your money on. Now we're going to start off with the image comparisons versus the original Blu Ray release from Arrow Video. That's what you're going to see above up here. That's going to be the Blu Ray image with the natural image of what's on these discs. What that means is this is the unfiltered image without all of the basically technology and basically all the things you can do with your TV to turn up color saturation and everything. That's the image that comes naturally on this disc. Now, in comparison to the 4K Ultra HD image release that you're going to see up above, that's the natural image of this 4K Ultra HD. Now, while I'm talking about the image comparison that you're seeing above, obviously there is quite a bit of difference between the two. Now, will I say it's as heavy as some previous, basically 4Ks versus Blu-rays before that? No, I will say that there are some before that basically the Blu-rays were so poorly done before that it was just stand out, boom, in your face basically when I showed those image presentations. Now, I do still think there's quite a bit of a difference between this, which I'll get into those things here in just a bit, but I do want to explain why what I do with these image comparisons is so unique and so exclusive. Like I kind of explained, I've gotten a lot of questions about that. I do all of my image comparisons exclusively on my own. What that means is I don't use somebody else's content. Basically, many years ago when I started doing these, I had to work really hard with the software to get the data off of each of the discs to figure out how to get these to present the actual image of what's on each of these discs properly. So all of that has taken me a long time of trial and error to perfect. Well, here's where it's the difference between what I do and a lot of the mimics and copies that have come out over the years. A lot of people use a website called Capsaholic. They'll go on there and use it in either their videos or their reviews to kind of try to use it as if it's kind of their data. On that website, it's not always 100% accurate. And actually there's been dozens upon dozens of times over the years because it's not 100% accurate and they have no way to verify that data because they don't own both the 4K Ultra HD and the Blu Ray release a lot of the times. They can't compare whether that's actually accurate or not, let alone they don't have a way to get the data off of themselves. And it's kind of simply the case of where a lot of people don't want to spend the money nor the time it takes to do the work that you see above where they're doing it on their own. That's why they use other people's data, basically from other websites, to try to put it in their videos or in their reviews. But the difference is everything I do is on my own. I verify all of this, and that's where it kind of goes back to why what I do is so exclusive and unique. All of this data that you see in these image comparisons, I am able to verify because I own both copies. I take my time to go in to be able to physically compare what it is between the two of them. And that's where that data that you see above is so accurate of a representation because I can verify it myself and I'm not relying on someone else or guessing that basically hoping someone else did the work correctly. And I just wanted to touch on that here for a minute. And that is why my videos take me so much longer to create and produce, because I have to physically go onto each of these discs, get the data off of them. I'm not using a cell phone held up to a TV to take a photo of either. And that's something I've seen pop up a lot of the times over the years as well. So if you're new to this channel, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. And don't forget to give this video a like and a thumbs up while you're at it, because as I've talked about, you're not going to find this content anywhere else. Now I did want to touch on why this didn't come out before the release date. Basically, Arrow Video dropped the ball on this one. They did contact me months before saying they would get me this way in advance before the release date. Well, my copy never showed up, and I contacted Arrow Video numerous times. They said, well, we're shipping it out, and then there was numerous delays, and it just never showed up. So I actually went out and bought this myself so that I could do this review for all of you. But as all of you know, this does take me a lot of time and work to create this. So even though it came out on Tuesday, I had to wait to be able to create all of this, get all the data off of the disc, which is why my review was a little bit behind. But the good news is, it is out now for all of you to watch and enjoy, so that you can see what my thoughts are here about this. Now, talking about this 4K Ultra HD, as I was talking, kind of explaining what it is that goes behind what I do on these videos, you've probably noticed those screenshots above on the Blu Ray, for example, do not look as good as this 4K. I have seen a lot of misinformation online saying that basically, hey, the Blu Ray looks just as good as the 4K, don't spend your money for that 4K Ultra HD because it doesn't look any better. That's 100% incorrect. And I don't know if people are literally blind that are reviewing it or really just don't know what they're talking about, which it seems like is a lot of the case. On this 4K Ultra HD release with the Dolby Vision and the HDR10 representation, it does look quite a bit better. The darks are very nicely inky on it. The actual film grain on this was more stable than it was on the Blu Ray. And that kind of surprised me overall because the Blu Ray didn't come out that long ago. But basically, Arrow Video went back with this 4K Ultra HD release, which is a native 4K 2160p, which was scanned from the original camera negatives. And it does make a nice difference on this versus that Blu Ray that they went back and touched all of it up with the HDR and Dolby Vision. Man, it does present this in the best that RoboCop has ever looked. And touching on the Dolby Vision and HDR10, it really added a lot visually to the image presentation of this film that it made even like the neon colors of the neon signs and RoboCop's armor. There was so much more color variance in his armor that I noticed that wasn't present on that Blu Ray release. I did like that Blu Ray release. I had actually bought the SteelBook edition here of Arrow Video's Blu Ray release when it originally came out. And that's where I'll get a little bit later on touching on the differences between the limited edition and the SteelBook edition. But in the SteelBook edition, I really liked the Blu Ray. I thought it looked good overall. But I really didn't realize how much we were missing out on until I got the 4K Ultra HD release this week and started working on this review. And there's a lot of differences between it that honestly, if you sit down and watch it and you go side by side and you pop in the Blu Ray disc, then you put in the 4K Ultra HD, go back and forth, especially if you have Dolby Vision, this presentation does look outstanding and does look drastically better than the Blu Ray release. So anything you've heard about that, hey, it doesn't look amazing, man, they must be blind and just really not know what they're looking for. And maybe they just have basically a low-end Walmart TV. And I'm not dissing Walmart because if that's where you got your TV from, I just kind of use that as kind of like a joke overall. A lot of people joke about that because they say, you know, Walmart really has some low-end TVs. But in that case, I mean, really, if you're watching something that you're watching it through maybe an Xbox on a low-end TV that you can't really see the difference, you're probably not noticing that big of a difference on Dolby Vision and HDR10 anyways. But if you have a nice 4K player that can present Dolby Vision, and you have a TV that can play Dolby Vision, man, the Dolby Vision presentation in this 4K Ultra HD is really outstanding and really good looking overall, that it makes this Blu Ray release just look not as great when you pop this in that you think, man, I'm not going to watch this Blu Ray again. Now, because this is a native 4K 2160p that they scanned from the original camera negatives, and basically Arrow Video went back and reworked this for this 4K release to give us a lot of like basically little things that were missed on the previous Blu Ray release to kind of stabilize and fix. And that's where I'll talk about the film grain in this. It does have the nice filmic film grain look to it overall. But here's what's surprising. Some of the film grain fluctuations that were present in the previous Blu Ray release are gone and fixed on this 4K Ultra HD release. And that's something I really haven't seen a whole lot of people even talk about. And I guess that goes back to what I've talked about a lot over the years. That's what I do exclusively here on this channel about the testing as well. And this release sounded great with the brand new Dolby Atmos mix that they put on this. And man, I don't get where people are listening to things because the Dolby Atmos over the previous Blu Ray release, that does sound absolutely great. I don't know if people just literally don't have Dolby Atmos systems to test things on, and that's where they kind of say, hey, it didn't sound great. And I kind of talked about that recently on my how to get a Dolby Atmos or DTSX, basically audio system on a budget. And if you haven't checked out that video series and you're looking at getting into a good Dolby Atmos system, make sure to go check out that video because I go into how to save a ton of money, what actually I did with my setup, and kind of go into that whole system as far as that goes. But the Dolby Atmos sound on this was drastically a huge upgrade over the previous Blu-ray release. So if you're looking for another big upgrade that makes this a worthwhile addition, I really enjoyed the Dolby Atmos mix on this and just overall thought it was a worthy upgrade that made this another reason to really buy this 4K Ultra HD over the previous Blu-ray release. Now, it does come with Dolby True HD 7.1 on this as well, plus DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, a 4.0 of DTS HD Master Audio, and a 2.0 in that mix. So you really get a plethora of English audio options on this, though I will say it is only English audio options. So all of those audio mixes, the Dolby Atmos, the Dolby True HD 7.1, the 5.1, 4.0, and 2.0 are all English mixes. But the good news is you can choose whichever one you want, though for me, the Dolby Atmos was really outstanding on this disc and I really did enjoy it, especially like I said, compared to the previous Blu-ray release. I like when studios go back, and Arrow Video not only gave us Dolby Vision and HDR10, but they also gave us the Dolby Atmos mix on this. So I really feel like Arrow Video was trying to give us some extra things other than giving us extra bonus features, because the bonus features that they gave us on the original Blu-ray release were outstanding and comprehensive already. That basically they ported those all over to the 4K Ultra HD release and instead worked on the image and the audio quality and make this such a worthwhile upgrade that to me this 4K Ultra HD was really the premier edition of what RoboCop has ever looked like, and just looked and sounded absolutely great. If you enjoyed this video or this video helped you out at all, make sure to go down and give a super thanks or a donation down below. That's just like giving a tip, and that's how I'm able to afford to keep producing and creating all these videos that I create exclusively here on my YouTube channel for all of you to watch and enjoy. I'm only supported by all of you, my viewers and subscribers, and I can only keep continuing to create all these videos through the support of all of you. So make sure if you enjoy this, it's just like when you go to a restaurant and you give a tip. You can do that through the super thanks button that's right below this video. It allows you to give a tip of any amount, and that goes right back into this YouTube channel, and that helps me to be able to keep affording to pay for all the software to create all this data and these exclusive 4K versus Blu-ray image comparisons, and all these videos on my Blu-ray reviews and all this content you enjoy here on my YouTube channel. So make sure to go down and either give a super thanks tip or a donation down below. Also, if you decide after watching this review that you're going to pick up any of these RoboCop releases that I'm talking about, I put the links for them right down in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section right below. So if you decide to pick it up, I've made it nice and easy for you. You click on that link, it takes you straight out to buy it at no extra cost to you. Don't forget to give this video a like and a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, go down there and hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. Now, talking about the subtitles on RoboCop here, we do get English subtitles for each and every cut of the film. Now I'll talk about the cuts of the film. There's 3 cuts of the film. Basically you get the director's cut, theatrical cut, and the RoboCop television cut. Now, I will touch on the director's cut first of all. A lot of people have been asking, is the director's cut a lot longer than the theatrical cut? And to be honest with you, it's roughly around 35 seconds, if I remember correctly, difference between the theatrical cut. Now, the reason why the director's cut is only a little bit longer is because they had to cut out just a little bit of basically the violence, and I think there's one cuss word that they had to cut out, which kind of made up for that roughly 35 seconds-ish of the difference between the two to get it into the rated R. And that's where the difference is, why the director's cut is not rated and the theatrical cut is rated R. Basically, they had that 30-35 seconds of basically additional violence. To me, I like the director's cut, though is there such a difference that you're going to notice it and say, man, there was such a huge difference between both cuts of the film? No, I don't really think there is such a drastic difference between both, but I love having all the different cuts of it in 4K Ultra HD. So, no matter which version you like and no matter what cut of the film you like, you get to watch it on these 4K Ultra HD discs. And they each had the same presentations as far as the Dolby Vision, HDR10, And the film grain between the theatrical and director's cut was the same. I didn't notice any differences between that, no differences in fluctuations between them, which was really nice because they actually had fixed some of the fluctuations that were on the original Blu-ray release, which they kind of went back and kind of ironed some of those things out, which did add to this 4K's basically overall look and filmic look. Where the film grain, yes, you can notice it more because it is a native 4K than the Blu-ray, but it does add to the depth of the picture. If they would have DNR'd that film grain out, you lose depth and detail in that picture because of how these were filmed on film stock. And basically, when they take that DNR and scrub it, you lose the details behind the backgrounds and the hair and the skin. It's all present on this, and it does add a very, very nice filmic look to it that makes this look absolutely outstanding. Talking about those audio mixes that I was talking about. Now for me, I love the Dolby Atmos mix. I really thought it worked the Dolby Atmos system well. I was hearing things all over the place with the thump and overall spreading the audio mix around and above. And I really enjoyed the Dolby Atmos mix. There was no audio issues or audio lag. I tested both the Dolby Atmos, the Dolby True HD 7.1, and the DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, and there was no audio lag, no audio issues were present whatsoever on any of them. So I'm happy to announce that Arrow Video did a great job with the audio mixes on all of the cuts as well. Now, Arrow Video did keep the original aspect ratio of 1.85 to 1 as well. They didn't mess with it. Talking about the runtime here just for a second, that's where I said there's kind of basically that 30-35 seconds difference. You're still looking between the theatrical and the director's cut, 103 minutes. So it's like 103 minutes and 36 seconds or 35 seconds and 103 minutes. So like I said, not a huge difference between the two of them. Now I'm going to show you what comes in this box set. Now this is the limited edition set. Now I have the SteelBook here and I'll touch on the differences here as I'm going through them. I do like these limited edition sets. Personally, I think they're one of the most collectible things on the market. I absolutely love Arrow Video's limited edition sets. That's why when Arrow Video never sent me my copy for review, I went out and bought mine as soon as I could when I found out mine hadn't showed up for review for all of you, because I wasn't going to miss out on this because I absolutely love collecting these limited edition sets. And if you haven't started collecting them yet, you're really missing out on a lot of fun. But anyhow, it does have the J card on it. It talks about all the different cuts of the movie, talks about all the special features. Like I did say about the special features, all the special features that were on the previous Blu-ray release are all present on this, and they are on the 4K Ultra HD discs. And you do get two 4K Ultra HD discs in this, and I'll get to those here in just a minute. Now getting inside, you get your 4K Ultra HD disc. Now I've switched the artwork around to show you the difference. This is the other artwork that's on the other side of the reversible artwork on this. You get this artwork on the other side of this, plus this artwork on the reversible. But I always switch the inside of the case so it's different than the one that's on the outside of the limited edition case. On the side here, it does say RoboCop, different side art. And then on the back, it looks very similar, just a little bit different colors behind it. Now, when you get inside it, you have your RoboCop Director's Cut 4K Ultra HD disc. And then right behind that, you have your RoboCop Theatrical with special features 4K Ultra HD disc. Now I'll talk about both discs here. I did test each one as I exclusively do here, and they both are BD100s. So the good news about that is, as usual, Arrow Video does a great job using a BD100. So there's no over compression issues. There's no issues because of the amount of content they have on there with special features and audio options. Everything had plenty of room because they used a BD100. There was no issues with that whatsoever. And for all of my worldwide audience, no matter where you want to buy this or import this, I'll put that link down below as I said. So if you click on that, it'll let you buy it in any of your countries worldwide. These discs are all region free. And that is something new on this YouTube channel. It is something that just started. It's called One Link. So when you click on those links down below now, it will direct you to your Amazon for your country to buy it through those links down below. So when you click on that, it should direct you to be able to buy these copies through each of your countries or the closest country to you, that it'll allow you to buy it through that country for these releases. So I started doing that on all of my videos. So when you click on that, that should make it a lot easier for all of you and help all of you be able to buy these easier through all of my videos instead of going to have to search for them. I've done all that work for all of you and included those down below. Now in the limited edition set, you do get a nice sticker. I did really like this. It says, warning, this property is protected by RoboCop. I thought that was a nice little touch they threw in there. And then you do get a bunch of these postcards that Arrow Video is known for. As usual, I love the ink, the smell they use of these things, but that's kind of a running joke I've had for years. But anyhow, they really have all these nice postcards in here. And I really liked all the artwork they used on these. I liked how they kind of looked a little faded out, kind of like an 80s postcard. I really like that little extra touch that they threw on these. And then I also liked on the back of them how it had a really nice poster for RoboCop on it. Very like retro 80s, and really just added to the nostalgia factor of why I just love all of the 80s like sci-fi action adventure movies. I mean, I really am a child of the 80s, and that's why I just love these sci-fi movies. Now next up is the book here, and this is something that's a big difference between the Blu Ray and the 4K SteelBook edition. Now, I had the original SteelBook edition. I never got the limited edition of the Blu Ray set. I actually missed out on it originally. It sold out before I got it. And so the only one I was able to get at a reasonable price was the SteelBook. Well, here's the big differences between the limited edition and the SteelBook edition. I really wanted to own the limited edition set because this booklet is over 80 pages long. It is absolutely phenomenal and is one of the biggest booklets that Arrow Video has included in their releases for their limited edition sets, and is really a just wonderful read. Now, in the SteelBook set, you only get a 40-page book, and it's more like a pamphlet. You really miss out on over 44 more pages in the limited edition set than what you get in this pamphlet. And I'll show you here side by side so you can see. It's not only like a quarter of the size of the actual artwork itself, you miss out on the pictures being big, but holy cow, look at the size of the difference here. And if you can see that, this is the pamphlet. It's a tiny little skinny pamphlet, and this is over 80 pages. So over double the size of this pamphlet, and literally over double the size, just even artwork size on it. It's huge. That is where this limited edition set is where it's at. I was really excited to get the limited edition this time because of this book. And that's where it's kind of one of those things, depending on what you own for the previous Blu Ray edition, if you own the SteelBook before, you really should get the limited edition set because it is nice getting this booklet with all those extra pages of artwork and essays and things like that, and talking about behind the scenes. That really does make this limited edition worthwhile over the SteelBook edition. So if you're considering between the two, this booklet should be a pretty huge deciding factor for you. Now, to show you in the SteelBook here, like I said, you get the 2 discs, and then you also get that 40-page booklet. And there really isn't any art cards or anything behind it. It does have some cool artwork behind it in the shiny SteelBook, but other than that, that's where I felt like, because you only get a 40-page book, the SteelBook, yeah, if you love collecting SteelBooks, it's nice to have, but you really miss out on a ton of the content that you get in the limited edition set with that book, the poster, the art cards, the stickers, and that's why, to me, that limited edition set is where it's at. And then on the back of the SteelBook, it does have a cool picture on it. I did like that picture of RoboCop there. Now, last thing you get, obviously, is this poster here, and this is the poster for the limited edition set, which I do like. On the reverse side is the other artwork for RoboCop. So anyhow, I do like these posters that are included in here, so that's why, to me, there's so much that's collectible in these limited edition sets that I just love getting them and unboxing them and going into all the cool stuff that's in them. Now, overall, I think the limited edition set is the best value for your money between the two of them. Now, it has been on sale, and like I said, I put that for sale link down below, so the price of this has been outstanding since the release date. So to me, the limited edition set, even if you own the previous Blu Ray edition with the limited edition set, because of how collectible these are, heck, I would have bought it twice. I mean, heck, I did buy it twice. I mean, I have the SteelBook edition, and now I've got the limited edition, and I love collecting them. So because it's one of my favorite films, I love the acting in it, I love the writing, the practical effects in it. To this day, I still think of, bar none, some of the best practical effects, especially for RoboCop's armor and his suit, and how realistic overall it just looks throughout the film, that you really feel like he was just walking and you could have believed in real life if you'd have seen him that really RoboCop existed. It wasn't all this computer imagery of RoboCop, it was really a suit they made. And I really think like that's why RoboCop is such an outstanding film and holds up so well today. I really do hope, though, having seen this in 4K Ultra HD with what they did with the Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision, I hope they do RoboCop 2 and 3, because I do like RoboCop 2 and 3 for various other reasons. Do I think they're as great as RoboCop 1? No, but I really do want to have them in my collection in 4K Ultra HD. So I really, really hope this sells well enough that it'll convince Arrow Video to do the rest of them in 4K, to release them in limited edition sets, because I would snap those up, buying them on my own in a heartbeat. That's how much I absolutely love RoboCop. I think because of the nostalgia factor of growing up and seeing this in theaters and seeing it in the 80s and just loving the film overall, that is one of those things where, as you've known on this YouTube channel, I love films from the 80s, and it's hard to replicate those. Still kind of surprised we haven't gotten the original Terminator on 4K Ultra HD yet. Now, I understand it's because of James Cameron, and he's notoriously slow at releasing 4Ks or even Blu Rays of his movies. But man, would I love Arrow Video to get a hold of that and to be allowed to work on releasing that in like a limited edition set. Think of how cool that'd be to have Terminator as well. But anyhow, I digress for a minute. This set I absolutely thought was great. The 4K Ultra HD version of this was a worthwhile upgrade, especially at the price it's been at. It's been between like 30 bucks. I've seen it like right around on sale for like 35 bucks. And that's a great price for this limited edition set. Once it sells out, everybody that bought it around 30 bucks will be saying, man, did I get a steal of a deal. My review score for this outstanding release is a 9.8. Because there was no audio lag issues, there was no playback issues, they have gone back and fixed a lot of like some of the grain fluctuations that were present in the previous Blu Ray release. The blacks were nice and inky black. Overall skin tones and flesh looked way better on it. The armor had so many more varying shades of color on it that really made it outstanding looking, even over that previous Blu-ray release. Arrow Video basically just took that Blu-ray, spent a ton more time basically doing Dolby Vision and HDR representation and Dolby Atmos for this great 4K Ultra HD release that really made the image overall just the most pristine that RoboCop has ever looked. This is a must buy. You gotta pick this up and add this to your collection while it's still available. And if you bought this previously in the limited edition set from Arrow Video and that Blu-ray, I'd still suggest buying this while it's in the limited edition 4K set, because here's the thing. You can go ahead and sell your Blu-ray set, but you'll be glad you have this in the 4K Ultra HD set, because once these sell out, they're big collectibles. And any of you that have collected these Arrow Video releases can attest to how expensive these get once they sell out, and the market for these is huge. Arrow Video is one of the biggest boutique labels out there that releases these limited edition sets that are absolutely outstanding. I love it. 9.8, even though Arrow Video basically didn't send me my copy and I had to go out and get this, I still really enjoyed it, spent my own money for it, and I thought it was a great release over the previous Blu-ray I already had. And that's where overall, anybody that doesn't think that really needs to get their eyes checked. I don't know what they're watching. I don't know what they're seeing. Testing them side by side, maybe it's simply they didn't have them to test side by side, because a lot of the times, if you go out there and you're trying to use random people's information, you're not getting a true presentation. And that's why what I do up here with these image presentations is so exclusive, because I spend the time to show you exactly the data that's on these discs unfiltered. And that's why I keep using unfiltered. Because there is things you can do on your TV. A lot of people don't understand that when you get a TV from a manufacturer, they may have the color saturation way up, or they may have the color saturation way low, or it may not be calibrated correctly. That's why I always suggest, if you want the best out of your home cinema, get it professionally calibrated. That way you can actually see what you're supposed to be seeing on these discs without all the stuff that sometimes are present on TVs that are basically changing the image or smoothing it out and taking away natural details. That is something I would say that's a worthwhile investment if you have a good home cinema, that you're wanting to see what's actually present on these discs and the best quality they are. It doesn't hurt to get your TV calibrated. I was really excited to do this review, and I was really excited to get into this because this is one of my favorite 1980s sci-fi movies. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts are about, now that I've done all my exclusive testing and you've gotten to see the differences between the Blu-ray and the 4K above, and what the true differences are. Let me know if you're surprised at how much better they were able to pull out of the image for this in this 4K Ultra HD. And what they represented here for us from Arrow Video, giving us that nice Dolby Vision and that Dolby Atmos. I mean, that's a real treat that they gave us both of those and put it in this great 4K release. Let me know your thoughts below and if you're going to be picking up this release. I put the link, as I said, in the description section and as a pinned comment. So if you haven't picked this up yet, make sure to go down and click through one of those links. Also, if this video helped you out at all and you enjoyed this, make sure to give a donation through the Super Thanks button down below. Any amount does help to support this YouTube channel, and as I said, I can only continue doing this through the support of all of you, my viewers and subscribers. I hope all of you have a blessed day, and I've always got something new and exciting coming out very soon.